Next, on the theme of a holistic approach to achieving a sustainable society, we will have a presentation by Ms. Andrea Dore, Head of Funding, Capital Markets and Investment, Treasury, the World Bank. To introduce Ms. Andrea Dore, since joining the World Bank in 1998, Ms. Dore worked in various areas in the Treasury Department, including pensions, cash management, risk management, and structured finance, and is currently primarily responsible for the bank's issuance program and strategy for major currency and emerging market currency-denominated issue. Ms. Dore also oversees large public bond issues in a variety of issuance markets, including diverse currencies and the Canadian market. In addition, Ms. Dore has been involved in the launch of the World Bank Green Bond Program. Ms. Dore has also managed several projects focused on strengthening the oversight and monitoring of operational risks across the World Bank's financial sector. Prior to joining the World Bank, Ms. Dore, during her 6 years at the St. Lucia Development Bank, worked in accounting and managed a portfolio of financing projects in the project development department. Ms. Dore is a Fulbright scholar and a CPA holder with a BA in Finance and Economics from Brandeis University, Boston, USA, and an MSc in Information and Communication Systems from Johns Hopkins University, Washington, D.C., USA. Today's presentation will be given by video message. Hello, I'm Andrea Dore.
Invited me to participate in the Tokyo Sustainable Finance Forum. I'm the Global Head of Funding for the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, and the International Development Association, IDA, known as the World Bank. For those of you who may not be familiar with the World Bank, I'll begin with a bit of institutional introduction to explain who we are and what we do. I'll then go into the World Bank holistic approach to sustainability, both in terms of our lending activities and the investment opportunities we offer investors through the issuance of World Bank bonds in the capital market. Let me start with an overview of the World Bank. The World Bank is a global development institution owned by 189 member countries, with a mandate to achieve positive development impact in developing countries globally. Our mission is to eradicate extreme poverty and promote shared prosperity in developing nations by supporting sustainable development activities that pave the way towards equality, economic growth, job creation, higher income, and a better standard of living for all. We do this through our lending, technical expertise, and the advisory services that we provide, all designed to achieve positive impact. IBRD is the largest entity of the World Bank Group. It provides support to middle-income countries and IDA provides support to the lower-income countries. Before moving to the topic of sustainability, I want to quickly mention the special relationship that Japan has with the World Bank. Japan became a member of the World Bank in 1952 and relied on capital inflows to rebuild from the devastation of World War II, and was once one of the World Bank's largest borrowers. Following reconstruction and development, Japan quickly progressed from being the World Bank borrower to becoming its second largest shareholder in 1984, and remains second only to the United States, even today. Let me move on to the World Bank holistic view of sustainability. that topic of sustainability, in explaining our holistic approach, I thought I'll first begin with green bonds. The World Bank pioneered the very first labeled green bond in 2008. This was done after meeting with some Scandinavian investors who were concerned that climate change posed a significant risk to their portfolios. Linking IBRD projects around climate, the investors also wanted the assurance that the selected project would be identified and managed through a due diligence process. They wanted to ensure good governance, which was effectively helping the country mitigate and adapt to climate impact. They also wanted result reporting. In fact, I was at that first meeting, and my role then was to find a way where we could account, allocate, and track the use of proceeds. Working together with colleagues across the bank and investors, the World Bank created the blueprint for today's green bond market. This was a remarkable achievement, and I'm happy to see how the green bond market have evolved today. And while this all began with green bonds, we worked to expand and evolve to sustainability. Sustainable bonds designed to cover both green and social considerations. For us, green and social are interconnected. We take a more holistic approach to better reflect our entire project lending portfolio. The World Bank serves as the world's largest source of development finance and expertise, and the single largest provider of climate finance in developing countries. For example, IBRD has 70 plus years of financing development projects, now with over 230 billion in loans outstanding, operating in more than 100 countries. The nature of our work in fighting poverty is largely social, but climate action is always an embedded aspect that must be fully considered before a project can be processed. In our last fiscal year, for example, 95% of all World Bank projects had some climate financing. That is across all sectors, from health to education, governance, trade, and so forth. If you were to add up all the dollar amount of those investments that the World Bank made last year, it would account for 33%, almost 1/3 of our lending by dollars. So again, you can see how we are combining green with social. For the World Bank, project finance, green is mainstreaming. This is what I refer to as the holistic approach. It is important to emphasize that the World Bank is much more than a lender of money. We are a knowledge bank working with our member countries to create a greener and more inclusive and resilient future. We have more than 130 offices through the world and staff with expertise in several areas, not limited to climate change and environment, water sanitation, for example, education, health system, which was so key and important during COVID-19, sustainable city, infrastructure, human capital, Our lending includes a technical package designed and monitored throughout the project lifecycle to achieve predetermined sustainable development objectives. We have an audit team that monitors project progress and disperses upon completing milestones. Climate is integrated into all World Bank loans. As an institution, our project finance has focused on climate since the 1990s. Using our environmental safeguards and now environmental and social framework to help set the standard for environmental management. In our engagement with countries, we are moving from a green project approach to a greening of the economy approach. This ensures that climate informs everything that we finance and all aspects of our strategy with the country. We have moved to a holistic approach with a snapshot. Here is a snapshot of the main tools that we use to integrate climate into all operations, regardless of the sector. We screen 100% of World Bank projects by the number of projects for climate risk. We report an emissions reduction in our portfolio by accounting for greenhouse emission at the project level. We apply a shadow price of carbon in the economic analysis of a project in sectors where the carbon price could lead to alternative investment decisions. We track the amount of climate financing in each and every project, and we call it climate co-benefit. For us, the share of climate investment is a co-benefit to the development or social purpose. To underscore that holistic approach, let me quickly give you an example of a project that we finance in Angola. Considering this education project in Angola, it was designed to empower education and learning. With the holistic approach, for us, the school is not just a building for education. It was constructed to double as a community emergency disaster shelter with consideration of potential disaster such as earthquake or flooding. The school could be constructed also with solar panel and with energy efficiency doors and windows. The curriculum can be updated to include climate science. And in the secondary school, they can teach skills for green economy, for sustainability. This is what we are talking about with this mainstreaming. Our education financing include climate consideration. World Bank also support building sustainable capital markets. Capital markets' view of climate and sustainability are also evolving. Just the same as we helped pioneer the green bond, the World Bank is now supporting our development of sustainable capital markets by engaging on different fronts, including building strategic partnership with investors and other market participants, and working group to promote the importance of private sector financing in sustainable development. We are working with policymakers to promote sustainable growth and encouraging green financing and providing capacity building and training. We advise on ESG and responsible investment trends, approaches and strategies for development finance institutions and investors to help bridge the ESG gap between sovereign issuers and investors. Sustainable Development Bond. The World Bank raised funds for its lending operations through the issuance of bonds in the capital market. Rated AAA, IBRD has been issuing bonds in the international market for over 70 years. very strong credit. All World Bank bonds are labeled either as sustainable development bonds or green bonds and provide an investor an opportunity to do well by doing good. We use our Sustainable Development Issuance Program to engage investors on World Bank development mandate, explaining the use of proceeds, support the finance of sustainable development activity, and describe how those activities could contribute to the sustainable development goal. It's important to know that our bonds are aligned with the sustainability bond guidelines, and all our bonds are tagged in Bloomberg as Sustainable Development Bond. We publish Sustainable Development Bond Framework to explain the financing approach, the environmental and social framework. We also publish impact reports that show results of all our projects. The World Bank is also a founder of the Executive Committee of Green, Social, and Sustainable Bond Principle, coordinated by IGMA. And it's an active member of many working groups. In closing, I would like to leave you with a few takeaways. The issue of sustainability is important. The World Bank takes a holistic approach to sustainability. Investors' behavior is changing. Investors are increasingly aware of the global, environmental, and social challenges that impact the value of the investment, and are looking for ESG data to integrate in the investment strategy, to mitigate the risk and find investment that help contribute to a better society. Issuers' behavior is also changing. Issuers are realizing that investors are looking for more robust ESG data and information that increasingly transparency around how they use investors' money. Financial models are evolving. The financial system uses models that underestimate financial risk, the external costs, and potential regulation changes that are not sufficiently included in asset pricing. The bond market are evolving. The growth of the label bond market is key to the transition towards a holistic approach to sustainable investing. And the focus on transparency for the entire issuance volume, for all issuer and all bond investor holder. In closing, I'd like to emphasize we need a transparent, holistic, and a very collaborative approach to solving the world's problem. We all could play a part. The capital market can play a critical role in connecting investors to a sustainable future. Thank you. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Andrea Dore, thank you very much.